if you really want something, you're going to have to get outside your comfort zone. You're going to have to stretch. And in that, there's two kinds of fear of what you know and fear of what you don't know. That's it.
Yes.
That's all there is. Some people are more comfortable staying in that comfort zone, knowing that the decisions have consequences, but they know what the consequences are going to be because they're comfortable and they know that fear. The unknown, you don't know what you're fixing to happen. So, what if we're sum total, Jason, which we are, I believe, of everything we've ever seen, heard, read, and done? How do you change tomorrow? Well, first of all, you got to step out today. You can't wait for tomorrow.
Welcome to the Strategy with Jason podcast. Tune in for everything you need to know to stay in the know regarding the automotive industry. Here's your host, Jason Harris.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? I am here today driving up and down the Las Vegas Strip. We're gonna go, here we go. Oh, here we go. And I'm with the one, the only, the oh so famous Mr. Russell B. Hill.
Thank you, brother. It's always always a pleasure. Always good to be with you. You're just so, I love everything that you do, man. I love your color.
Well, I just have fun.
Yeah,
that's the key. You had to just have fun with it. People are like, you're going to do 30 podcasts in 3 days? And I'm like, well, 2.5 days. But yes, I'm going to do that. But I'm
honored and humbled just to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Oh, man. Like, I love talking to you. I love your whole team, too. I think what you guys are doing over there is just absolutely amazing.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Jason.
Well, for everyone out there watching and listening, maybe don't know who you are, let's kick it off a little origin story.
Origin.
Yes.
Okay.
How you got started in the business and what you're doing right now.
Okay, origin story. Here's a quick origin story. 1968 Hot Wheels. That started me on my quest for automotive. 1985, I started selling cars. Ended up running stores, GM, GSM. In 1999, began in 2000. Left that for the vendor space. Went to work for a CRM, or what became a CRM company about 6 months after I started. Ended up being managing partner in that, called Car Research. After 11 years, left, bought into an existing technology company, websites, etc., and gave that hell for 9.5 years. And then 2.5 years ago, co-founded a company called Fixed Ops Marketing, which we're really excited about. The future. That's quick origin, right? Quick
that was amazing.
Okay,
that was boom, 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 boom.
All right.
Well, look, you had a session here today
I did.
at Digital Dealer.
I did.
I heard nothing but positive things.
Thank you very much.
So,
who'd you hear it from? Never mind.
I can't say.
Go ahead. It's okay.
Can't say because I know I heard. No, I'm just
go ahead.
Let's talk about what really. Let's say maybe 3 or 4 of the key takeaways from today's session.
My session today was on EV batteries, politics, EV adoption, and fixed ops marketing and fixed operations. Fixed operations.
God, I could talk about EVs all day long.
Yeah. It was fun. All the research, to prep me for this was amazing. Some things I learned about our power grid, about all the different types of EVs I didn't know about. And I took everybody on this journey. You have about 40 minutes. You're not allowed to pitch, which I don't think, I call them but anyway. So I took everybody on this journey, and ultimately where it ended up is that it's all about people.
Yes.
It's all about taking care of your people. It's all about empowering your people. It's all about your intent. Everybody has some great intention, but the road to hell is paved with great intentions. And we need to act now. There's a tremendous future, and everybody thinks that EV is a tsunami and there's not going to be any money made. Well, you know what? If you stop the defection that dealerships are having by taking care of your people, hiring the right people, but finding out their why, being able to work with them and meet them and be transparent with your customers, that will help stop the bleeding. You won't have to worry about EV. There'll be plenty of maintenance for electric vehicles.
You know, and that's a good point. I love the fact that you bring up the why, right?
Yeah,
because I think as an industry, we've gotten better at identifying our why, but I still think we have a long ways to kind of go. There are definitely some that are better than others for sure. But I mean, here's the bottom line. Everybody knows what you do. There's a 60-foot sign outside of your dealership that says exactly what you do. Right. I think it's very important to really kind of take the time and understand, why you do it, the way you do it. Right. I think is what's most unique.
It is. So, for example, 80 to 85% of all general managers are cut from the variable side.
Yes.
They really don't understand.
Is it really that high?
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
They really don't understand the fixed operation side. That's where their bread and butter is. That's what pays all the bills,
makes sense,
etc. But it's not. What you're selling is time. Totally different than any other aspect of the business. Yep. It's all about time. And the why is, look, you got Gen Z, Gen Ys, millennials, you got all these different people, new people coming into the business, stuff like that. People want to know they count, they matter, that they make a difference. You know, Jason, that they're part of something bigger than just themselves, and they're part of a team, right? Together, everyone achieves more. And we're not doing that. We're treating them like a number. We're just I know dealers that actually took technician off their About Us page, took their technicians off there because people were pilfering their technicians. Yeah.
I think I'd be more worried why they're leaving than necessarily why.
Exactly. Well, there goes the why again. Are you
Yes.
taking care of you? We talked about management and leadership, and I'll stop here.
Yes.
Managers and leaders are two entirely different things. Managers light a fire underneath people. Leaders light a fire in people.
That's a very, very good point, and it's
Do you
totally
agree?
true. Oh no,
okay, good.
no, 100%. I like that, and we're talking about not just leaders, you know, for your employees, but also leaders for your customers, right?
Absolutely.
Like I can tell, I can feel, all right, when I go into any business, all right, and talk just to a handful of the employees, if there's real leadership in this
There's an
environment.
aura. You can sense.
There is.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
almost smell it sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
You can.
you know, it just feels like, you know, people are empowered. You know, people are, you know, they don't need to run off and go ask, you know, manager for this or that, the other thing. They
That's
just,
right.
they're empowered,
Love
to
it.
take care of
Perfect.
the customer.
Right.
And that's a leadership thing, not
It
a
is.
management.
Absolutely. One of the other things we talked about, is transparency.
Mm.
If you want to stop this defection, depending on who you're talking to, 70-30, 65-35, whatever it is, after the warranty period's up, there's a huge defection because they felt like they were locked into you for warranty, free stuff,
Of
etc.
course.
But what keeps them coming back? There's all kinds of technology out there today. As a matter of fact, this guy, I call him my friend, he's not, but I feel like he is. His name's Glenn Lundy. You ever heard of him?
I think I know.
Yeah. Anyway, he was talking about how technology's evolved from 1922 to 2022 over the last 100 years. He said, in the next 5 years, technology will move that same 100 years. So be prepared. So we have things that like True Video, where customers will believe what they see, right? You're being transparent.
Yes.
Technicians do a walk around, the rotors are warped, or whatever the case may be, right? Whatever they need. Well, then you also have, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, I guess you get it out. Another company like RepairPal, for example, where you can be transparent with the customer when you're talking to them about brakes or other types of recommended maintenance that need to be done. And then you can see with everybody in your area, all the Valvolines and Firestones and etc. You're not the most expensive, you're not the least, you're right in the middle, but these are the true costs for the same service, and that's transparent. They like you, they trust you, they believe you, they're going to buy it from you. And then another one's called UVI, or I think that's what it's called, where you first come into the service department, takes a picture of your undercarriage, it knows all about your tires, inflation, stuff like that. And you think about this, what's the single biggest first purchase that a customer has when they buy a new vehicle's tires?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But what are we doing? We're going through a waterfall.
Yes.
Yeah, right? Anyway, that's my quick take on. Yeah.
But you know what though? To put that type of process in place, you have to be very intentional.
Yes.
It's not going to happen on its own, and I think there's a fear I find sometimes, not always, all right, but there's a fear I find sometimes of actually documenting and putting together a process like that because there's accountability when you document something.
Boom. Accountability.
You know?
Yeah, there is.
You know, so how do we? And don't get me wrong, I'm guilty of it too. Like I'm not saying this is. I know for a fact that if I have an idea and I want to get something done, and as long as I don't share it with anybody, then no one's ever going to hold me accountable for it. Therefore, I can never fail at it.
True.
You know.
True.
So how do we? I'm going to get your opinion because I know you're good at being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
True, I am.
What?
I love it.
Yes, all right. But that's something that you had to practice. So walk me through kind of how that got started for you. How did you get comfortable being uncomfortable?
I met this guy. Well, first of all, I had a lot of challenges in my life. We have, all of us, depending on how transparent we want to be. I had some real serious drug and alcohol problems early on. I have been clean and sober for a long time, but I met some people in my life. One of them was a guy, my life coach mentor. He said, "Russell, are you willing to do the things that other people aren't willing to do so that you can have and become the things that most people will never have and never become? What are you willing to do?" Well, then I realized that drugs and alcohol, first of all, were never my problem. They were a symptom. The problem was me and the way I thought, and my head and my heart were in line. So what I realized was the definition of insanity, right? Keep doing the same thing, expecting different results. How do you, if you really want something, you're going to have to get outside your comfort zone. You're going to have to stretch. And in that, there's two kinds of fear. Fear of what you know and fear of what you don't know. That's it.
Yes.
That's all there is. Some people are more comfortable staying in that comfort zone, knowing that the decisions have consequences, but they know what the consequences are going to be because they're comfortable and they know that fear. The unknown, you don't know what you're fixing to happen. So, what if we're a sum total, Jason, which we are, I believe, of everything we've ever seen, heard, read, and done? How do you change tomorrow? Well, first of all, you got to step out today. You can't wait for tomorrow. You have to step out in faith. You can't do something and wait for whatever it is you want to do. You can't wait for all these circumstances to be right because they'll never be right.
No.
You have to step out and then it will be revealed. But then you'll meet people when you walk outside of your comfort zone, step outside and say, you know what, I like you, like what you're saying, I trust you, let me introduce you to this guy, let me introduce you to this guy. Well, what I found was, if you want to change tomorrow, it starts with, there's only 3 things that'll make a difference in tomorrow. That's it. It's real simple. People are looking for the magic bullet. Here's what it is. What you read, what you listen to, who you associate with.
There you go. Yes.
Input new information,
So glad
you get
you
a
went
new
there.
output.
Yep. 100%. A lot of people ask me, like, how did you get comfortable, being in front of a camera and doing podcasts and stuff like that? And it's like, because I started hanging out with people that did exactly that.
Well, it wasn't comfortable at first, though.
Oh,
was
God,
it?
no.
You're way outside your
Most
comfort
people
zone.
think like, oh, no, like,
Jason was born into it. He was born
that way.
out. He's
I'm like,
born into it.
bullshit. I wasn't born.
Oh, I was
that
scared
way.
to death this morning.
Yes, right? Getting up on stage?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
First time I did, I sweated through.
Oh my gosh.
I sweated
Yeah.
through my shirt, my jacket, everything.
I got a little trick. You want me to tell you what I do sometimes?
What?
Okay, first of all, I pray, but sometimes the anxiety, and it only lasts for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Then I find my ground. So I reach down here and I pinch myself real hard in the thigh to redirect my thoughts from the anxiety and focus on that pain just for a second.
Not a bad idea.
I know. Don't do that. Whatever, Robbie. We're just cutting it out.
Hey, I like good hacks. I love it. I love a good hack. I love a good hack. But I think to be progressive and to stop being reactive in this industry, that you need to really be, comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that is, in the way that you communicate with your staff, and it's also the way you communicate with your employees. Look, with your employees or your customers. That's what I meant to say. So, I think communication is one of those places I started. Where I started getting comfortable being uncomfortable is how I communicated.
I like that.
Oh man. Okay, I was not the best communicator when I was a manager. I'm gonna tell you right out of the gate. No. I remember I had this girl one year for Christmas crochet me a pillow that said, "Shut the fuck up and get back to work." And she thought it was funny. Well, I kind of got it funny too because that's something I said on such a regular basis.
You said that?
All the time. I was just,
You changed.
Yeah, and but that was my aha moment. I went, oh, that's how they perceive my communication, as being in that tone. Now, she was doing something funny and thought I'd get a kick out of it, and it was. I actually still have it, I think, somewhere. But I was like, yeah, no, that's got to change. And I, had to really kind of learn to be empathetic with others. The funny thing is I was actually pretty good about being empathetic with customers, not so empathetic with my staff, and but it was a process. It was a process.
Nobody just gets it. They have to fail. First attempt to learn.
Oh my gosh. And I'm still failing at it. Yep. Like I was just thinking the other day, I had this meeting with our new operations manager, and I was just like, God, did I really say that? It was like, could I have said that differently? But here's the other thing too, is I found, and this works, for management, leadership, for your employees, if your customers, hell, even your friends and families, that, the willingness to quickly admit that, yeah, you know what? No, I'm going to rewrite what I just wrote. You can do that. Things aren't in stone, right?
No. I think making amends or apology. Look, I got to share this with your people out there. I learned this from a service advisor back in 1996. The 6 most powerful words in the English vocabulary. And it's effective with your family, friends, your clients, guests, customers, wherever you call them, your staff as well. First of all, if you're wrong, admit it. But here's the 6th word. I apologize. Can you forgive me? And shut up.
There you go.
Now, if somebody's coming at you and there's a lot of heat, Trust me, after you listen to them and you acknowledge them, right, listening to understand instead of listening to respond, let them get about a minute and a half into it. It might seem like eternity. And then as soon as they pause from being angry, say those 6 words and shut up, and they'll apologize. Most of them will apologize and say, hey, it's not your fault. You know, I had a bad day here. My kids did this, and that, spilled coffee all over the car, whatever the case may be. I don't know. I went off on a tangent there, but
no, but we're talking about emotional intelligence.
right. Oh,
that's what
owning my own crap. Apologizing when I was really wrong. Sometimes it's hard to do, but that's the sign of true emotional intelligence and maturity, and loving people to that, moving down there, stay in my own lane, running my own race, right?
Yes. I will say, as I, went down this path of being more comfortable, being uncomfortable, that's where I really, started to spend a lot more time on my emotional intelligence. And I've still got a long ways to go. But I'll tell you what, the more emotionally intelligent I became, the better manager, the better leader, and the better marketer I became, because I was able to actually really kind of put myself in other people's positions. I could put myself in the customer's position. I could put myself into the employees. I could put myself in doing the marketing, even the marketing, the way we were writing content, for the longest time, I always used to say, for a while there, we were marketing at people, not to people. And now we market to people, not at them,
Good point. That's great. I wish I had all this on I also have a podcast too, right? And on it, sometimes we do these quick fire questions at the end. And I think it was with Brian Kramer, one of those.
Yeah.
I think it was Brian. But at the end, we're asking him, if you could go back and tell your 18-year-old self something, what would it be? And he said, and it was really quite revealing. But for the first time, somebody turned around to me and said, Russell, what would you tell your 18-year-old self? And I said, well, it wouldn't make any difference because my 18-year-old self wouldn't listen to anybody. He knew it all, So we have to grow and learn and fail and make mistakes. We have defining moments. You learn from your failures, not your successes, right?
Yeah, and I think good management and good leaders allow their staff to fail in a controlled environment.
Controlled, perfect.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do.
You know what I mean? Because you are so right. We will learn 10 times, if not more, when we fail versus when we actually succeeded. I'm not promoting you go out and just promote failure, but what I'm saying is that you need to create an environment that it is safe to fail.
That's right.
And to do so, you need to have strong processes.
True.
But these processes have an area, a space that person can still be there themselves, all right, and fail. And that's how I manage my service manager. I am a used car manager. I mean, you just gave them that space. You let them kind of take ownership.
I think that's important to understand. It's okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to get beat up, and it's okay to be
marketing.
vulnerable. I mean, this is how we really learn, right?
100%.
But I got to tell you, there was a point in my life, like yours and a lot of ours, at least the people I used to associate with, who I do not associate with anymore. But they were always telling me, hey. My circle of friends was, hey, you can't do that. I tried that. That won't work. And they got interrupted by somebody who just did.
Yep.
I stopped listening to those people because it's like, if the branches are bare, au contraire, I just don't go there anymore. I don't. They got to have fruit on the tree, right?
Yes.
And not everybody has it all. It could be relationships, finances, management, leadership. There's a lot to be learned out there. And it looks like you became that kind of student.
Well,
and myself as well.
I think it was more forced, because I think, I say that people are like, oh, so you chose to do that. I'm like, yes, I did choose.
You did, right.
But if I was going to be successful, that is the path I had to walk. One of the opportunities I've had with doing over 500 interviews and podcasts is I've got to interview some incredibly successful people, and that has always been a very consistent pattern with some of the successful people out there, is they had a very strong mission statement. They had something that was always leading them, pushing them, and guiding them, right? And
their why.
Their why. And they were intentional with their time, intentional, very, very intentional everything they did, right? And super high, and emotional intelligence. They were always working on, and they were just comfortable with being uncomfortable, And I think, look,
it's hard, isn't it?
Here you guys thought you were joining an automotive podcast.
Right. But you know what?
This is so important.
This is.
Yes.
This is the backbone of all the stuff we're talking about. If you want to be successful, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
we didn't even.
successful
We
marketing
didn't. We
I know.
intentionally did this for all you listening out here. We're not talking about business. We're talking about people, and people are our business.
Yes. 100%.
Everything else is a byproduct.
Everything is absolute byproduct. Well, look, Russell, this is it's always fun to jam
Yeah.
with you, man. You know what I
Yeah.
always say. It's like we're at the tail end of our time today. We're pulling up to the hotel. But for everybody out there that's watching and listening right now, maybe like to connect with you and learn more maybe about the business and stuff like that. What's the best way to do so?
Well, you could visit our website, fixedopsmarketing.com. You could email me at Russell, 2 S's, 2 L's, at fixedopsmarketing, FIXEDOPS marketing. Some people get that wrong, fat finger it. Or you can call me on my cell. I'll let you do that just because you're watching Jason. It's 903-819-5253. And again, 903-819-5253. But check us out. We're all over LinkedIn. Like us, share us, love us. I also host a podcast called WTF, and that's What the Fixed Ops. Okay?
Yes, it's so much fun.
And Jason has been, an instrumental part of where I'm at today. Jason, thank you very much as well.
Thank you, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
Really
has. Thank you
appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thanks for tuning in to the Strategy with Jason podcast with your host, Jason Harris. Don't want to miss new content? Be sure to check out the full podcast library at strategywithjason.com to stay in the know. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Happy podcasting.